Paula here with accompaniments, where we help you pair your side dishes with your main dishes to help you round out that menu. Today we have a green bean recipe with new potatoes. It's gonna be filling, it's gonna be delicious, but this is a good Southern style recipe. Now, does anybody else besides me had to snap green beans on Thanksgiving or holidays with your grandmother? If you did, leave some memories for me below in the comments. Otherwise, let's get to cooking. Very simple dish, and this can be swapped out based on what you have. Today I have a large onion. I actually do like the onion flavor in this, so I went ahead with a large one here. I have about a teaspoon of seasoning salt. After everything is gone, we still may add a little bit more kosher or Himalayan salt, just depending on how we are as we're cooking. I have about a pound here of red potatoes, which, you know, back in the day they used to say new potatoes, but new potatoes was the little baby ones. These are just regular red potatoes that I cut up. Wait, that's not half a pound, it's a pound. I have here about 4 garlic cloves, and then I have 4 cups of chicken stock. May use more or less. I like to cover my green beans with stock. And this is a major part of this. This is what makes it flavorful. Water just does not cut it. Also, I just want to cover the green beans with the stock. That's why I said I may use more or less depending on what it looks like in my pot. What I don't want to do is boil those green beans because that's nasty. All right, so I got 2 pounds of green beans here. Show you how I trim these. Back in the day, and actually this is my preferred method, what my grandma used to do is have us trim the ends. So we would pinch it off here, pinch it off the other end to kind of give it a blunt end, and then pinch them in half. Now I still do that to make my girls have something to do, because I mean, hey, they need to learn how to get in the kitchen. But also you can just line them up and then just trim the ends off. And I do that sometimes too, just depending on what I feel like. And then these go in a bowl, because I just toss these out to the chickens. And then, like I said, I'll put them in half for the most part, the long ones. Cut them in half, I mean. But sometimes I don't, and like it's different sizes. And I'm okay with that, because to me it looks more rustic and homemade. It doesn't look like the canned green bean. All right, I have about 6 pieces of bacon that I got in here that I am going to render down. I always start your bacon in a cold pan. You get more of your fat when you do that, and that is kind of what we're looking for. We're looking for that bacon fat. And I'll be honest with y'all, sometimes when I make this type of green beans, I will actually put additional bacon fat. Just depends on how much I've rendered out of here. This is a must-have for every Southern girl's kitchen. You gotta keep your bacon grease. We use this for everything, okay? So if I need it, I'll let you know. I have a little bit in here that I will throw in the pan. And I'm just waiting on as much of the fat as I can to render out of this, and for it to get good and crispy. So this is about as brown as I like to get it before we start our green beans. I am going to take about half of this, because I'm one of those weird people that kind of like the mushy bacon inside of the recipe. So I'm gonna take half of it out, so half of it can be crisp at the end of it. Trying to leave as much of the bacon fat as I can. And then I'm gonna leave the other half. Like I said, I do kind of like having the little mushy bits. And this, I'm guessing, is a couple, 2-3 tablespoons of bacon fat in here. All right, I'm gonna toss my green beans in, and they've been cleaned and washed and all of the things. And before I get everything started, I like to coat them in the green beans. In the bacon fat. I like to coat them in the bacon fat. I'm gonna give it a good little stir here to make sure everything's coated. And then I am going to I'm gonna add everything else. All right, now you can saute the onions beforehand. I'm gonna cook these a good while, at least an hour, hour and a half. So it's not necessary to me at this point. The flavor is still gonna be cooked into that because, like I said, I'm not gonna overwater this. So I'm gonna give it a good little toss again, and I'm gonna go ahead and add my garlic. I am not big on a lot of garlic, but like it's a little garlic is a must-have, right? Especially in this recipe. To me, that's what kind of takes it over the top. So I need, and I like to see the garlic flakes at the end of it. A little garlic. Go ahead and add my seasoning salt. Like I said, we'll test this a little bit as we go for seasonings. We may need to add a little bit more salt to it. And salt is always optional. That's what you like to taste. All right, so we're gonna start with about 4 cups of chicken stock. Let's see where we are. All right, looks good so far. We're gonna keep that right there. 4 cups, we're gonna keep it at there and see how we go. So I am going to bring this up to a bubble and then put the lid on and see where we are. All right. So I'm gonna want a little bit more water. It is covered, but I gotta add those potatoes in a little bit later. So I'm gonna make sure I have enough for those to be able to steam into. All right, so this is up to a bubble, which is comfortable with me. I'm gonna let this cook about halfway through. Before I add the potatoes, I want the potatoes to be soft, but I don't want them to be mushy and fall apart in my green beans. So this is on high now. It's come up to a bubble. I'm gonna go ahead and put a lid on it, and then I will turn this down to low for about, check it about 20-30 minutes and see where we are. It's been cooking for about 30-45 minutes. Doneness is a personal preference as well. If you like yours a little bit crispier, then go ahead and do it before now. If not, then you can keep going. But this is the point that I like to add the potatoes in. I have about 1.5 pounds here, but I really just like a little potato to go through it, so I may not use it all. Let's see. And these are red potatoes that have been quartered. So yeah, it looks like I'm gonna use maybe about 1/2 pound in that case of red potatoes. And then at this point, since the green beans are about done to my likeness, what I'm going to do is just cover this with a lid and let it simmer until the potatoes are done, which may be another 20 minutes. All right, so the potatoes are done to my likeness. They have simmered for about 20 additional minutes. At this point, I'm just going to add the rest of the crisp bacon. I had crisped up in the pan before we started, and give this a little stir, and this is done.
These green beans are delicious, flavorful, and perfect to add to the side of any of your soul food or any meal for that matter. Today I served it alongside Cornish hens and a squash casserole. But for more ideas, be sure to like this video so we can get more videos just like this. See you next time.